YouTube, the selection box is here, and the ban list for skill rebalancing is here. I'm gonna tell you. Oop, let me get rid of that. Oh no. And I'm gonna tell you what's good, what's not good, what you should look out for. Is the selection box pay to win? Well, it's always pay to win, but is it good? Do you have to invest? I'm gonna tell you. Get ready to tilt. Alright, so where is... First of all, let me get this out of the way before I go on. Okay. So, about the skill rebalancing. Alright, so we have a few skills behind here that are getting rebalanced. It's not major. There are a few things in here that do change the meta a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal, to be honest with you. Except for one skill that kind of changes things more than anything. Yeah, it's a Toon World Master of Rights 2 getting buffed a bit. They're going to be able to activate at the start of your turn. So that's really good in terms of for Megalith. I'm excited for it because now you won't die to Harpies Underground. Though Harpies are not the most meta deck. But now you don't have to sit here and die to Harpies Underground because you went second and they pop your cage. So now they can't do that anymore. So go at it. It's a Toon World being activated going at the start of your first turn. It's kind of like middle-aged mechs and how they buffed it that way. It's not really that big of a deal in my opinion. It is what it is, and you know, they're probably just updating it to meet that requirement to fit up with middle-aged. But it's not that big of a deal. Switcheroo, they're making it 1,000 life points. So if you take 1,000, now instead of 1,500 you could search. The skill is still once per duel. It might be nice for some decks that didn't really have a skill before. Now they have kind of a generic one that can allow them to just shuffle a card back in the deck without having to wait for it and to get a new one. So that's a good buff. Might be good for like generic things to go off. I think Switcheroo could be nice. I think that's a good buff. And the last two are Surprise Present. This is the biggest impact one. So go down here. Now it can be used turn 3 or onward. Select one set card in your spell and trap zone. Force it on your opponent. So now you can't use this on turn 1 of Mech Knights. Give your opponent a card and then instantly have a live blue sky column. I'm very happy for this. Specifically, I wanted this skill to get hit so that way you now can't use Mech Knights to lock out decks like Burning Abyss or lock out things like Pendulum decks and whatnot. This is something that I feel like needed to happen because I don't think Konami really wanted a game that, you know, interrupts other people from playing their game mechanics like that. That's not what they intended. I predicted a while ago that they would hit this skill, and they finally did. So, yeah. Draw Loan is fine. I don't understand why they did this, but set one lucky loan from your deck to your field. You cannot conduct a normal draw during your next turn. This is a nerf to Super Quantums because they used to like this to get the free advantage to help make Magnus, but now they kind of got nerfed a little bit, which is like awkward, but you know, instead of adding that lucky loan, you get to set it. So Witchcrafter and Super Quantum players are now pissed off. Whatever, the small percentage of the players that do play that are now very upset. So there you go. Alright, so that's the skill changes. Now that that's out of the way, I'm going to switch over my window captures. So give me 1 second here. It's going to take me a bit of a minute to do. So just bear with me. Okay. Okay, there we go. Boop. Alright. Selection box. Whoa. Okay. Selection box. Here we go. We're going to go over them. And I'm going to show you what's good, what's not good, what you should be looking out for. Blah, blah, blah. I know this looks very small. I'm going to blow this up. So just hold on 1 second. Let me do this first. Let me hit this to screen. clicked on the wrong window. That's fine. Okay. Now I'll just zoom this in and we will be good to go. Alright. So, this is Selection Box Volume 6. Are there anything good in here? What you should look out for? Is this a wallet box? Unfortunately, I have to tell you, all free-to-play players, there is a money-grubbing card in this box, and it's really going to change the meta. And we'll go over it. Alright, first is Mind Control. If you don't know what Mind Control does, this was very impactful in the TCG. But then don't forget, you have 6 cards going turn 2. So this makes this card more reasonable to open because it won't disrupt your opening combo. Mind Control. Target one monster your opponent controls until the end phase. Take control of that target, but it cannot declare attack or cannot be tributed. You're linking it off. This card is extremely powerful going turn 2. However, if you rely on back row going turn 1, this card kind of gets weaker. I could see this card being very well played in a deck like Photon. I mean, they may run links of some sort, but like their going turn 1 might be strong enough that they might just throw this in the deck. And then on turn 2, they take your monster and then they start doing things with it. So, it could also be used to like bait out a negate. So this could be very strong for them going turn 2. I think that this card is just going to be strong in any link deck that could already produce a really good turn 1 that could just start running turn 2 cards in the deck. So I do think Mind Control will be relevant. Will people play 3 of it? I doubt it, but this is an interesting card. I don't know how much play it's going to see, because the thing is, Mind Control is kind of a weird one, because going first or second, it's kind of awkward. It going first, because it doesn't really do anything, but going second, it can be very big. Almost like Econ just takes the monster, but you don't have to tribute anything, and then you can just link it off. So it's really, really interesting. We'll have to see how impactful this card is, but it definitely has a good amount of potential. I would say, like I said before, decks that already have like a strong turn 1 could just run this as a going second card. This could also be really strong at Mech Knights, because Mech Knights, like I say, they already have a strong turn 1. You know, coupled with Ibly and Blue Sky, that they could potentially run this alongside it. And that way, when they go turn 2 and they draw this, they take your monster. And remember, Morningstar can be any Mech Knight plus any monster. So it can be your monster as well that links off in the Morningstar. So this could be a buff to Mech Knights. That's another deck that really could take advantage of this. So keep that in mind. Ice Dragon's Prison. Now this is the card I'm saying that you are going to have to chase for. Prison is very, very powerful. And it is meta defining. That's how good this card is. Probably the strongest trap we've ever had in Duel Links. And it's right up there with Compulse, Crackdown, and could be as strong as when Venus Chain came out and released. Target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to your field, but its effects are negated. Then you can banish monster from both layers fields that have the same type as each other. So immediately this card counters so many different decks, and it's very good going first or second. So if you open this going second, this card is super strong. If you open this going first, it's super strong. One of the decks that this card counters is Salamangreat. So Salad, they go first, they set up their Wolf, they go into their, dump their Jaguar out. Now what you can do is you can go Prison. The minute they summon Wolf, you go activate Prison, summon Jaguar, banish both Jaguar and Wolf. They're both Cybers. So that's a really huge hit. Now notice the banish is non-targeting. So if you do something like Decode Talker and you did it against like Code Talkers, it was targeting protection, doesn't matter. This does not target. So that's a very strong play against Salad. Against Photon, if they go first, they summon Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. You can reborn it. And, you don't have to commit to banish. So you don't have to feel like you have to commit to the banish. If you could just steal their Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. So if they activate their revive, you could just steal it. The banish effect is optional. So if they go to revive Photon Dragon, you could go ahead and steal it. So they can't, now you play around cards like Forbidden Lance, right? Because now they can't lance their Galaxy Eyes on the field. So, very strong against that. What else is it good against? Well, it's good against Mech Knights. If you go turn 1, you interrupt, and they go, alright, they set up their Indigo Eclipse, they set up their Morningstar, they set up their Graveyard for Secrets, they activate Secrets, Revive, now you chain Ice Dragon's Prison. Ice Dragon's Prison steals their monster, and you banish their Morningstar or another Mech Knight. So you can kind of see already the meta decks that I'm going over that this impacts. Infernoids, if they go with their turn 1 setup, and you have this set up, then you could activate this. I mean, by the time then, no, it'll still be good, even if they go turn 1. And you set this on turn 2, next turn, you activate Ice Dragon's Prison, you revive back their Deviati, and you get to banish their Decatron on the field. Now they can't summon back Deviati. So, you can already see, by me going over several different examples here, of how this will be impactful in the game. Alright, this card is going to be very, very powerful, very, very strong, very, very quickly. I would say the deck that would dodge this the most is probably Trickstar, because they generally don't get a ton of monsters in the grave. Once they do, it will affect them, but the way they generally go off is by tokens, so go wild there. However, with that being said, a lot of decks, Goki too, another thing, like if you bait their negate, and they have Master Ogre, and you bait out a negate, and then you go Ice Dragon's Prison, you manage to banish the Master Ogre, then you can summon a Goki out of their grave, banish. But if you go first with this against Goki, right, how is this useful? Well, the minute they summon out Thunder Ogre, you special summon a Goki from your graveyard, their graveyard, and then you can take their Goki, summon it, banish Thunder Ogre, banish. So this card is very, very powerful. Is it more powerful going first or more powerful going second, you might ask? It's both. It's really both. I think that, like I said, you're going to want to couple this with other things. But, like I said, this card is extremely, extremely good. It's just absurdly powerful in the meta. This card's meta changing. And I don't want to be the guy to tell you this, but this might be a 3 of in some decks, so at least 2 or 3 of it you're gonna want. I would say you could probably get away with 2 of it, because you may not want to open multiple of it, but like 2 or 3 of it's gonna be really good. Nightmare Cerebus. 2 monsters with different names. This card's Link Summon. You can discard 1 card, target 1 special summon monster in your main monster zone, and destroy it. So immediately this is monster destruction. Okay, this is very, very good right off the bat to do that in a deck that spams. But unlike something like Security Dragon, you don't need to be co-linked to do this. But we already have cards that do this. Think about Brute Enforcer, right? So, if this card is co-linked, you can draw a card. Co-linked monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. So if you co-link this with something like Firewall Dragon, they cannot destroy it by card effects, so it cannot get Dark Hold. So that's something you may want to keep in mind. Cerebus is nice. It blows up monster, protects co-link monsters. This might be a good card in World Chalice. So that's something you may want to keep in mind. To avoid their board for getting Dark Hold, they may summon in there. Darkarm Dragon. This card is interesting. I don't think there's really too many meta decks that are going to be used Dad right now. Now, if anyone played in Teledad format knows that this card's frightening. However, BLS has really had no impact on the game whatsoever. Nor do I think Darkarm Dragon will have a major impact on the game at all either. That being said, it's still a card that can be played in a few decks, such as DDD, that can answer a certain amount of Darks in the grave, play it for extra removal, and can draw it off of something like Coach King, and then summon it on the follow-up. So that's something you may want to look out for. Be kind of cool to see it being summoned in there, but other than that, I don't think Darkarm Dragon's going to have the most major impact on the game. So, people will look at this card and get immediately hyped, but I think that the hype is not strongly warranted for a card like Darkarm Dragon yet. There might be some decks in the future that try to use this, but I wouldn't worry about this card so much. Vampire Sucker. Oh my gosh, my boy X Mango is going to be. I'll link his YouTube, but he's going to be so excited for this. Takes 2 zombie monsters. If you attribute zombie for attribute monsters for attribute summon, you contribute the zombie your opponent controls. So this works with something like Zombie World. I think we have a skill for Zombie World. I'll have to look. Even though you do not control them. So that's immediately good. You can only use each of the effects of Sucker once per turn. You can target a monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to your opponent's field in defense, but it becomes a zombie monster. If a zombie monster is special summoned from either player's graveyard, draw a card. So, immediately, you can revive their monster, becomes a zombie, and you can do quite a few things with this. Ferocious Flame Swordsman. All warrior monsters on the field gain 500 attack. This link summon card is destroyed by battle or by opponent's card effect while in the monster zone. You can target a non-warrior link, special summon it, but banish it when it leaves the field. Okay. Not too big of a deal there. For Goki, I think Mrs. Radiance better, but it's an interesting card. You could run this in like Tellarknights if you wanted to, or any warrior-based deck like Six Samurai, but it's, in my eyes, this card's not that great. Lightning Chidori. This is Harpy and Ritual Beast support. Takes 2 level 4 wins. This card is Succeed Summon. Target 1 set card your opponent controls. Return that card to the bottom of the deck. Once returned, you can detach 1 material. Target 1 face-up card your opponent controls. Return it to the top of their deck. So you can turn off their draw. And it's just a good card in general for like Harpies. And anything win, like Ritual Beast. This card is kind of crazy. But, you know, is it going to make Harpies meta? I still don't think so. I still think that, despite this card being really good, I still don't think it's the answer to Harpies being meta, but it would be nice to be able to run this in Harpies and do a few things with it. It would be very nice. The next card here I think is really good in a deck like Starry Night, or any fairy deck going second. Protecting Spirit Logolith is a very, very strong card in any fairy deck that will come out, or that is already out. So, it has quite a few effects. If this card in the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target 1 monster in the field that cannot be destroyed by battle this turn. That's not what makes it good. This is what makes it good. If an effective fairy monster you control is activated except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can target 1 face-up card your opponent controls, and 1 attack position monster you control, banish that opponent's card. Now, the effect to banish is not a quick effect. However, this card is very strong going second. In some fairy decks. Will it be used? I don't know. But going second in a deck like Starry Night, they can really abuse this as a go second card, because the whole deck is fairies. Trickstar is another deck that can play this going second. Will they? I don't know. But if you summon a monster to your field, right? You summon, you activate something like Rael or whatever not, you could special summon this and then activate the effect, target a card, your blah blah blah, your opponent controls in 1 monster you control, and it instantly banish their monster. So you can banish a monster, change the defense, and then get Rael's effect going second. Are they going to play this? I don't know, because it doesn't really give you too much value going first, because you can't use the effect to banish on your opponent's turn. It's not a quick effect. That would be insane. This card going second seems very strong for a deck like Starry Night or something like that. But is Mind Control just take precedence in decks when you would run Mind Control something like that instead of Logolith? I don't know. But Mind Control definitely really good. Next we have Gizmik Kaku, the Shining Sky Drag. If a monster's in your extra monster zone, you special summon this from the hand. So if they summon to their extra monster zone, you special summon this. You can target 1 face-up monster in the extra monster zone and equip this monster to this monster. Another really good going second card. Again, if they have something in their extra monster zone, you can special it. Take their monster, equip it to it. When this card destroys the opponent's monster by battle, you can special summon 1 of the monster cards equipped to this card. So, I think where this card really shines is it's another good going second card. Like Mind Control. But Mind Control might just get preferred over all of these. I don't know. But, you got a lot of good going second cards in here. Now, the other card, there was one other card that I really think, beside Ice Dragon's Prison, that's going to make an immediate strong impact in this box. And that is right over here. Onomatopoeia. Generation Force is interesting too. If you control an Exceed monster, you can add one Exceed card for your deck to your hand. Which is really interesting. We'll go over that in a second. But Onomatopoeia is a card that I think kind of get Onomat back into much stronger contention than they were before. So you can only activate one Onomatopoeia per turn, send one card from your hand to the graveyard, add up to 2 of these monsters from your deck to your hand. One Zuba Ba Ba Ba, one Ga Ga Ga, one Go Go Go, one Do Do Do. So immediately you could search out. This is kind of like Onomatopoeia. This could search your Zubababa, Ga Ga Ga, Do Do Do, Go Go Go. So immediately you could search Onomatopoeia. You could only add one from the same category. So you can't add 2 for the same category. So you can't add 2 Ga Ga Gas. But you could search head. You could search anything. So think of this as almost like Onomatopoeia. But you have to discard a card. But it's not really that big of a deal because you can discard something like Glove, get that in the graveyard, and then get your Onomatopoeia effect. So, very, very interesting right off the bat to get like an old Onomatopoeia card. This is definitely something that is it seems like a big buff to Human Astral in my opinion. This allows you to add Exceed cards, Generation Force. What I mean by that is Spell and Traps. That's specifically listed. It's like Exceed Burst. This destroys all set cards. Exceed Block. This is probably the one that people would search the most. Or Change Tactics. These 2 are the ones that are probably going to get searched the most. So, what Exceed Block does is when your opponent activates a monster effect, it's a counter trap, it's a negation, and then it destroys it. Exceed Change Tactics. If a Utopia summon, you pay 500 life points to draw a card, so it can be used in a Utopia deck. This one's interesting, but you have to control 2 or more face-up Exceeds to draw 2 cards, detach 2 materials. That's kind of hard to meet. Exceed Reborn does allow you to revive an Exceed, but I think Block is the more interesting one, because this allows you to get you to your block, which is a negate. So this card's the more interesting one. I think Onomatopoeia, this card is got a lot of potential. I definitely want to play Onomat with it. Especially since we now have cards. Let me talk about some of the Onomat support. Especially since we have ways. With a lot of the Gagagas being, with us having some dark and light support, you don't have a ton, but you could definitely argue Onomat get back on there. So it's kind of still hard. I mean, you could do it with Sisters, because Sisters is a dark, but you would have to use a dark in some other way. Maybe like Sister-Child combo to get into, maybe a Sister-Child combo to get into, well, you can't really, yeah, Sister-Child. So you would go Sister-Child, use Sister to double that, and then go into a really powerful Exceed, which is Nightmare. So, making Nightmare on turn 1 could be very, very good for this deck, if you can get it out. And Nightmare is very powerful, obviously, because when your opponent special summons, you can flip it down. So it's Book of Moon on legs, and against mechs, you'll be able to make Roach and do a bunch of other things there. So, like I said, very, very powerful, I think. I think the 2 most powerful cards in this box is this and Ice Dragon's Prison. I do think mind control is good, though. I do think mind control is good. I think Logolith has some potential, and the Gizmik has some potential. But I definitely think, look out for those two specifically. Now, the other card I want to look up is this. I want to see if we have a card that searches Zombie World. Oh. We don't yet. Yeah, we don't yet. Ooh, what's this? From your graveyard, based on the result. This is interesting. This is actually very interesting, for zombies. Yeah, very interesting. Okay. Very, very interesting. Does it take over level tuning? I don't know, but this is very interesting to say the least. Okay. So that will be that. Destruction deck we'll talk about on the stream. I'm not too impressed with this, but we'll have to see if we get a skill with it. It doesn't seem that good off the bat, but we'll keep it at that. Alright. Until next time, ladies, gents. If you guys haven't followed me on Twitch, make sure you go do that. I'll leave the link in the description below. Also, if you want to see me open the selection live, make sure you follow me on Twitch. I will be doing it there. Okay? Yeah. Also, like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And until next time, it's your boy Sean Matrai, signing out. Peace.